Hi, Gran. Yeah, I'm in Dumfries. I'm gonna get the train now to Richardson Rye. Yeah, it shouldn't be too long. I'll see you there. Cool. Bye. Hi, Gran. Yeah, no, I'm not coming today. Apparently, Marples and Beeching shut the train line down in the 60s. In 1962, the Minister for Transport of the Macmillan government, Ernest Marples, appointed Dr. Beechings as the chairman of British Rail. His remit was to make significant savings on the British rail network. Interestingly, Mr. Marples had recently opened the M1, and companies he owned or had large significant interest in had been given government grants for road building. On March 27, 1963, Dr. Beechings released his report, The Reshaping of British Railways. In this report, he recommended the closure of large swathes of the British rail network. Around 70,000 people lost their jobs, and communities all over the British Isles lost their rail transport. It was called the Beeching Axe. The Paddy line was one of those railways lost forever.
The railway line was opened in 1860 and was the result of a long-held need to communicate effectively between mainland United Kingdom and Northern Ireland. Bigwater Fleet Viaduct was a slim, elegant structure, but right from the start it had engineering issues with the loads it was expected to take. It was strengthened first in 1904, and then by 1946 it acquired the big brick clunky piers that we see today. Although some of the railway infrastructure has proved to be less than durable, the bridge at the foot of Loch Strone over the Blackwater of Dee is a different league altogether. It's actually really well designed, constructed of segmental arches out of local granite. This particular cutting typifies the challenges of constructing railways in the 1800s using mostly manual labour and black powder blasting. At the height of the period of railway mania in the 1800s, this railway, from an act passed in 1858, was fully operational by 12th of March 1861. Sat on one of the platforms at Loch Skerrow, and although it was never officially a station, it was a pretty important area of activity. There were two platforms. Behind me you can see the houses. There were 5 houses, 5 cottages behind me, developed over a period of time. Just in front of me would have been where the signal box was, and then a plate layer's hut, and then we had a big system of water towers. You can imagine in the depths of winter living in an area like this. You had a lovely warm fire to stave off the cold from the snow howling off the hillside. This was a fairly rugged existence for the 5 families that lived up here for quite a while. From its opening in March 1861, the Dumfries to Stranraer rail line was operational for about 104 years. Essentially, that period of operation lasted until the Beeching Axe was swung in 1965 and the railway finally closed.
It wasn't just jobs that was lost, it was home. It might not look like much, but these houses at the Loch Skerrow halt were home to families. Their children took the Paddy line trains to school. The Beeching Axe evicted these families from their homes, and to add insult to injury, a short time later the British Army came and blew up their former houses.
Fishers and farmers and mithers and fathers wi' places and people to see. Rovers and weavers and drovers and shearers fae nith and fae and fae dee. Mossdale, Beatty, Cross Michael, and then departing fae parting and o'er Loch Ken, Mossdale, Loch Scarrow to Gatehouse of Fleet, while the Paddy line rocks to the beat. All aboard. Whispers and chuckles of glaikit young couples believing they're on the richt track. Lang-nebbit spinsters and holy Joe ministers all lugging into the crack. All these voices are stranded in time, whimsy and Hanny adrift on the line. Memories fade into stories and sang as the Paddy line rummels the line. All aboard, all aboard. Tweed and brown leather through peat bog and heather for mile after mile after mile. Travelling far to a light at Stranraer and a trip to the Emerald Isle. Images fading like thoughts o' a dream. Accents is lost in the past as the steam. Ghost of the whistle resounds in the sky as the river of steel is run dry. All aboard no more. 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 All aboard no more.
Back in its heyday, the Loch Scarrow rail halt would have been a real hive of industrial and railway related activity, coal and steam everywhere. Now it's a much quieter time, and although the station and its associated buildings have been almost completely demolished, what's actually been left behind is a really valuable wildlife habitat. Even today, we've already seen amphibians and reptiles. We've seen an adder earlier. We've seen a lot of very sleepy toads coming out of hibernation. So it's a real haven now, and a quiet haven for wildlife. The Mossdale to Gatehouse rail path was one of the first projects that Galloway Glens got involved in. It was actually a Dumfries and Galloway Council environment team project that we agreed to help out with. The project itself consisted of improving the path surfacing. The path had actually become quite damaged and degraded. The project was to improve the 11 miles of path between Mossdale and Gatehouse Station to the point where it was once again a usable asset for cyclists and walkers and horse riders. Let's go down and have a look at Mossdale. Some of the rail path infrastructure was in really poor condition. We're at the site of the original rail bridge that crossed over the burn flowing out of Loch Scarrow. And although the original rail bridge is long gone, even its more modern replacement was unsafe. Galloway Glens was able to step in and procure and deliver a modern replacement which is still capable of taking all the traffic, local agricultural traffic. The bridge itself is the work of a local bridge builder, Malcolm Strong of Strong Bridges of Balmaclellan.